Welcome to the final Western Perspective for 2021. I'm Malaya the Fawn. Another year has passed and Christmas is finally here. For many, Christmas is a time of joy where families gather to celebrate while kids are looking for their biggest dreams and wishes to come true. All these are wonderful things to look forward to, but what's the real meaning of Christmas? Tonight, Pastor Peter Arbetz shares the story of the birth of Jesus Christ as we head into the festive season.
This weekend, millions of people will be celebrating Christmas. There are not many events, in fact, I can't think of any, that happened 2,000 years ago and which is still being celebrated every year right around the globe. And of course, I'm talking about the birth of Jesus. The birth of Jesus didn't take place in a vacuum. The prophets in the Old Testament time, the Jewish prophets, they had prophesied about the coming of a Messiah. But when he came, many people didn't even recognize who he was. And so they actually didn't recognize him as the Messiah. But why do people celebrate Christmas? Why do they celebrate the birth of Jesus? And I guess the story of a baby born in abject poverty, born in a stable with animal manure around and flies buzzing around, no room for them in the inn, a child like that, then going on to become the most influential person in world history, that is a story that resonates and warms our hearts. But Jesus was much more than a cute baby that went on to become the most influential person in world history. Jesus, the name, actually means Saviour. Jesus came into the world, the Bible tells us, in order to save us from our sin. Now, Jesus' ministry was quite short. He lived for 30 odd years and had a ministry that only lasted about 3 years. But in that time, he had a profound impact. He taught people, he taught his 12 disciples who in turn would teach others, and so the gospel message spread. But the most significant event that Jesus undertook was actually coming into this world. That's why Christmas is so special, because he was not just a baby, he was actually the Son of God, coming into the world to bring about a radical change. He came to reconcile us to God. The fact that because of sin, the fact that people had gone their own way and rebelled against God meant that the relationship was broken, and we're unable to fix that relationship. So God had to deal with that, and God, in love, came into the world in the person of his Son in order to reconcile us to himself. And you may recall that when he went to the cross at Calvary, he actually said just before he died that my God, why have you forsaken me? He said that and experienced that God forsaken us, so you and I would never need to experience God forsaken us if we embrace what he did for us at Calvary and accept that for ourselves. So Christmas is a very special time because it marks the coming of the Son of God, and I hope that all of you will pick up perhaps your dust off a Bible and open those first chapters in Luke's Gospel and read that story again and take to heart what it's all about.
And now, here is AMA WA spokesman Dr. Andrew Miller with his weekly COVID-19 update and commentary just before Christmas.
COVID situation is obviously very dynamic and people have to be nimble with it. We have our hopes and dreams about how things are going to turn out, but the reality doesn't always work out that way. Right at this time of the year, we want to be back with our family members. We want to be celebrating with loved ones that we don't get to see that often. And some of them would need to travel from interstate and they're not going to be able to do that. Unfortunately, this virus doesn't have a mind at all. It just replicates and it causes severe disease. And unfortunately, with Omicron, the game has changed again. We don't know yet whether this virus is going to be less severe. What we do know for sure is that it transfers as fast as measles does, which is to say incredibly quickly. If you walk into a room where someone is breathing out Omicron virus, the chances are that you're going to walk out of there infected. So we do need to get our third dose rate up. It's very low at the moment. It's less than 10% in Western Australia. And we do need to get our primary school kids vaccinated, not just for their benefit, because this thing is so infectious that it will travel through schools like wildfire as it has been elsewhere. Now, people don't like disrupting kids' education. People don't like putting masks on children. But that is going to be disrupted anyway if there's a lot of this diseases around. So we have to be realistic about it. I think our Premier's taken the right approach all along in being precautionary, and certainly we have very, very vulnerable regional and remote communities in many instances with very low incidence of even first and second dose vaccination. We do not want mass deaths in those communities. We do not want mass admissions to our ICUs. We don't want to see young people on heart-lung machines to try and keep them alive, because even after all of that, they take a very, very long time in rehab to recover. It's a lot of suffering involved. And we don't want the long-term generational burden of long COVID hitting a large portion of our population. So although people think it might be inevitable that one day you're going to get this disease, you don't want to get it unless you've had your 3 doses of vaccine. You don't want your kids to get it. And you certainly don't want to catch it when you're not wearing a mask, because we know that people who are wearing a mask, when they unfortunately do get infected, have a much better course in the disease because they get a lower viral load. So there are things we can do. Unfortunately, it's not the end of the pandemic, but we've known for a while that it is airborne. So the masks, the fresh air ventilation, CO2 monitoring are all things that we all have control over. Thanks for your time. Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year, and happy festivities to all of those of you who celebrate things other than Christmas at this time of the year, which we also enjoy.
That's Dr. Andrew Miller, and that's the final Western Perspective for 2021. For more features, premium stories, opinion and in-depth video interviews, check out our newly launched WMN Extra News Club, available every Saturday. Find out more at wmnnews.com.au/extra. I personally wish you a Merry Christmas and send love to those you love. See you in the new year. Back to you, Ivan and Sarah.
Thanks, Melly. And that's our weekly news and current affairs. We'll have the latest news anytime on our website, wmnnews.com.au.
What a year it has been. From Sarah and myself, we wish you good health, good night, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. Our news service will return on the 12th of January, and this program will return on the 16th of January. We'll see you in the new year. Good night.
Thanks for stopping by.